Well, today we're smoking chopped brisket on the Kamado Joe Junior. Can't wait. Have you ever wondered how to take a local, cheap brisket flat from your local grocery store and make it tender and juicy? Well, that's what today's video is all about. I was given a 5-pound free brisket flat from my local farmer, so thank you. I'll put a link in the description below about this awesome company here in Oklahoma City. But what better opportunity to take something lean, and also it's about 5 pounds, and so it's gonna shrink up when we smoke it. So I'm gonna turn this into chopped brisket and show you a few other techniques to give this an opportunity to be tender and juicy. So stick around and I'll show you all the details. Well, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to salt brine this brisket. And what I like to do is use diamond crystal salt, and then it pulls out the moisture but sucks it right back into the intermuscular fat. And then we're going to do that overnight, pull it down, pat it dry, and remove any excess moisture that it did, but it sucked it back in. Then we're going to do a few layers of seasoning. The first seasoning we're going to use is coarse ground pepper. We're gonna do a nice layering of that. It's gonna help build our bark and give a great flavor profile. Then a little bit of celery seed as our second seasoning. We'll get all sides with that as well. And then lastly, we'll use some Lowry's salt. And this has got a few other different seasonings in it, and it's a great flavor profile as well. So we're doing these 3 layers because I already got that salt from last night, and it was a salt brine. And then what we're gonna do is take a meat tenderizer, and we're gonna tenderize all sides to really drive all that seasoning into the brisket. And then lastly, we are going to use some beef tallow to inject. This is not a necessary step, but because I know this is a leaner brisket, I wanna give every opportunity to get this juicy and tender. And this is gonna be one of those ways to do it because there wasn't a lot of fat cap on this brisket. So that's why I'm doing it. And then we're gonna inject this in all parts of the brisket and then let it sit. And I'm gonna take you outside to fire up the Joe Junior and show you our next steps. Well, now that we've dialed in the temperature at 300, I'm doing kind of a half opening here and then just pretty much 2 finger widths down below to maintain temperature, and we'll just keep an eye on that. Here's our agenda. We're gonna let this smoke unwrapped until we get the bark formation that we're looking for. So being a smaller brisket, I anticipate it'll take a lot quicker, but who knows? So we're gonna take this to probably 160, 170 until we get that bark we're looking for, but I'm okay even going up to 180, and then we'll foil boat it. But along the way, probably hour 2, I'm going to spritz this with water and keep it moist. And we are using the meat stick digital thermometer to keep an eye on the temperature. So I'll bring you back once we get to the point that it is bark formation we're looking at, and then we'll foil boat until we get to probe tenderness. And really we want to take it until we can shred this, but we're gonna slice it and then chop at the very end. All right, we are at that 170 mark, and we've got some great bark formation. I'll show you a close-up of what that looks like. What we're gonna do right now is we are going to spray this down with some water and then move it to the foil for a foil boat and take it until it's probe tender before we start chopping. So let's start spraying. All right, friends, we are at that probe tenderness stage. Look at that bark. I'm gonna show you a few things. This is probing like butter. Just literally going through like nobody's business. This should be easy to chop up, and this is what we're looking for. We got great bark formation, and it is like the very edges has a little tightness, but man, for the majority, it is probing like butter. Like, look how easy it is going in. So we are at that like 2, let's see here, probably 202, 205 in some spots. I'm gonna carry this over onto this pan. I'm gonna take you inside and we are going to show you a chopping show. Let's go. Well, I hope you enjoyed that chopping show. There's nothing like taking a lean brisket and turning it into chopped brisket. And that's a great strategy if you get something cheap from the grocery store and it's lean like that. You do those different techniques that we did with the different seasoning, the salt brining, and even the injection with the foil boat method. In summary, those are all the things that we did and we spritzed it along the way. And we got tender and juicy brisket. I mean, just look at this slicing of this brisket, and even the smoke ring. The Joe Junior did a great job with this lean brisket. And we chopped it up, we sliced it, and now we have cubed, and we have a little taste test. Come on now. That was delicious. And if you want to take it up another notch, which I don't always do this because I don't think barbecue sauce needs to be added to your barbecue necessarily, but whenever you do chopped brisket, you can add your favorite barbecue sauce and mix it all those chopped pieces together just like that, and it just adds a nice sweet and honey-ish flavor. I love it. Friends, if you like videos like this, like, subscribe, turn on notification buttons, let YouTube know you know exactly what to do, and most importantly, let me know in the comments, what'd you think of this chopped brisket method and the different strategies we applied to achieve a tender and chopped brisket on the Joe Junior. Again, from my backyard to yours, less hate, more love. Good barbecue. Till next time.